So when I said I thought I was forgetting something, I was right. I forgot the click, which is this spring right here for the mainspring winding gear, and it's just basically went right under here, right under that bridge through this post, and it's just going to be a spring. So I already took care of that. I knew I was forgetting something. We're going to lubricate some jewels now. We can go, we've done, going farther along, we can do this. I have a very small oiler and a 9010. Now, if you remember, these jewels do not have a capstone. There's one right there. I'm going to take care of those later. I just have to make a tool to get those springs on. But I just put a little bit of oil on an oiler, 9010, and then we come around this side and we're going to continue. There should be a couple over here. We have one right there that's getting oil, and we have one right there. Here's our balance jewel. After that is pallet fork. This one here is escape wheel. So we put a little in on the escape wheel. Now that that's done, when we turn this mechanism or move the wheels, everything has lubrication on it. You can see how slick everything is moving here. Next, we're going to put our winding wheel on there. So we have a click, and then we're going to put in the pallet fork, and that's a little bit much. The pallet fork and the balance. I'm just putting a smear of oil on that. And it's keyed in there. It can only go on one way. It's got two flats. And a rather large headed screw that is going to hold that in place. And we have to get that automatic winding lever out of the way. No, we're not going to capture it. Now it's basically sitting on top, and we can wind that in all the way. We need to hold that wheel from moving. Let's see, are we in the shot? I'm going to just come in here with a thin blade. Keep that from turning. And I can tighten that up. There's the click in operation. Only allows it to go in one direction. Now let's come over here. Next, maybe this will give us a better view here, since my lighting is casting shadows. That jewel right there in the middle, that's going to hold the pallet fork. We're going to put the pallet fork in, the bridge, and then the balance. And at that point, we will get this ticking. It will. Of course, I dropped something. Can I believe it? I'm looking for my pallet fork. I have it right here. The pallet fork has 2 stones on it. Let's see if we can get that in the shot. There's our pallet fork. And each of those stones, at the very end, we're going to put a tiny bit of oil. There's a number of ways to do this. You can do it when it's installed in the movement, or you can do it out here. I like to do it this way. I can get a better look at it. Alright, come on. Trying to work around this camera so everybody can see. And I have a little oiler here. I just put a little bit of oil on the stones. Might be unorthodox, might not be, I don't know. Who knows? That gets this is a little bit of a tedious operation here. That staff is very thin. You're going to drop that in that bore, in that jewel. Make sure we're in the shot. And you don't always know if it's in. It can be nerve-wracking. And if you think it's in and you tighten up your bridge and it's not, then you've got major problems. So here's our bridge with its jewel, and I just lay that gently, and it falls onto those studs pretty easily, pretty quickly. And I give things a nudge here and there. Give that tail end of that pallet fork a pull side to side. It is not moving around, so that's a good sign. Where's our screws? Pallet fork screws. What did I do with them? Did I lose my pallet fork screws? I can't believe it. What time do we have? 8:48. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay. I am missing a couple of screws. I've got some screws missing. I located them. Let's get it in the shot. It's no good unless it's in the shot, dummy. These are not going to be tightened. I just barely have them in there because I'm going to inspect that pallet fork and make sure that it's in properly. And to do that, here's what I'm going to pull out a little bit. I just barely have that tight. I'm going to give that a little up and down motion. It's out of the shot now because I have a jeweler's loop. I'm looking at that jewel to make sure the staff is coming through, and it is. So when I'm happy with that, I can tighten up that bridge. Now we can put lubrication on it. We have 90-10. Doesn't take much. Tiny, tiny oiler. One side, come around, and we do the other side. So, for now, we have everything completed before we put the balance in. And my last little test, I'm going to put a screwdriver on the mainspring, and I'm going to wind it. You can see the click moving, engaging, disengaging. Gave it a few clicks. One of the things I like to do as a final test, just nudging that tail end of the pallet fork, and it snaps to the one side. Snaps to the what do they call stops? What are those stops called? I'm not sure. So if I can do that, and that just nudge just the slightest bit, and it takes off, I know things are working good. So this is getting on 12 minutes. Our next video is going to show installing that balance.